Hey, friends, followers, and YouTubers. It's me coming at you again for another whatever you want to call it. I'm going to work out later. I worked out yesterday. I did my chest and triceps yesterday. Today's back and biceps. I'm still sore from all of that. But today I'm going to talk to you for a moment before I head off to the gym about some things that came to mind yesterday while I was at the gym. A friend at the gym, a staff member, fellow Christian or whatever, he was saying about how some things about homelessness and asking me about what would be great things to give to a homeless person on the spot that you run across and you don't have time to educate them or help them out long term, but they're right there. I think I'm kind of dirty. I don't know. Let's see. This I just did my eye makeup. That's all I did. So I'm sorry I look like a mess. But back to that subject. Sorry for going off there. But yeah, people think sometimes the best thing to give them is the money they asking for. But this guy asked me because if you know me well enough, I've been homeless. I was homeless back in the 90s. And I was around 18 when I first became homeless. And everybody gets to homelessness a different way. It's not always because of drugs or alcohol or whatever. So you can't just stereotype people thinking they're homeless because of something they did wrong. It could be because of divorce and a spouse is gone that was the main provider and the other one had actually nothing, and there's a lot of cases of that. And or medical bills. I read where some people are homeless because their medical bills just were so enormous and they were left with nothing. And sometimes you can't get assistance. And if you're making minimum wage and working 40 hours a week, can you really live off about $1,000 a month? You just figure that up after taxes and all that. And in some places, you can't qualify for assistance if you're even making minimum wage. So, but I was telling him, money's not really a good idea because when I was homeless and down in Florida, there was a lot of the homelessness where I was homeless at just was outrageous. And there's homeless shelters, which was a great thing. I got saved in a homeless shelter, and you had meals. But I was anemic pretty much the whole time I was homeless and malnourished. You may not get a meal every day or whatever. So, but I was giving him some ideas that, nuts, bottled water. Key. If you're going to a location where you're probably run across someone homeless, a pack of nuts, a bottle of water, granola bar, a bottle of water, non-food items like wipes for cleaning and hygiene is really good. Because I think back to when I was homeless and on the streets and how some of these things I would have loved it. Because not all gas stations have paper towels to wash with. So, and part of the time I was homeless, I was in areas that didn't have a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen. Like where I live at now, they have it now, but back then they didn't have that. And I've been on the streets in the middle of winter and with terrible shoes. That canvas shoes in the middle of winter in New York is not ideal, in the wintertime. So I about got frostbite. It was just shoes. Oh my gosh. That's probably the least thing people get when they're homeless sometimes. And I didn't have a driver's license. I didn't have a college education or a high school education, and drugs wasn't my thing or nothing. But I hung around with some people that did that stuff, but it wasn't for me. And some people are homeless because possibly abuse. It was sometimes it's easier to be on the street than to suffer whatever is going on at home, and some people, that's, you find out, somebody's missing. It's probably from the family. It's probably, you don't never know. You don't know why people are homeless all the time. Some people like being homeless. As I've met that many people like that's what they preferred, because they like the free handouts, but it's not the way to go. I mean, in the long run. But if you're short on time and you're going to run across a homeless person, nuts, granola bars, water, because dehydration is a real thing, as a lot of places don't give free water like they used to, and wipes for hygiene, purposes. But if you can spend a little bit more time or money, I was making a list of some other things that are great. A hat. You could go to the Dollar store around here. You can get the sunscreen, because it's getting hot out. They get sunburned just as well. They got sunscreen. They have hats for $1. They even have t-shirts. A clean t-shirt to a homeless person is a great thing, because sometimes what I had a lot of times was just the clothes on my back. I didn't have anything else. So those would have been great. If you want to spend a little bit and you notice a homeless person doesn't look like they probably have had a bath or a shower, or they're wearing dirty clothes, so maybe they don't have clean clothes to wear or a change of clothes. If that's the case, a backpack with some essential items in it. Maybe, big time for women, female homeless people, have needs too, feminine needs. Bras. Bras were very hard to come by. Being homeless, bras are outrageously expensive, a good one. So, but I'm thinking back when I was there, if somebody would have gave me maybe a medium-sized sports bra, that might have fit me pretty okay. But a medium sports bra, probably it would go across the board for a lot of homeless women, maybe. I've seen quite a few overweight homeless women, which you would think, well, how are they overweight if they're homeless? But people just give them handouts, all the time. But undergarments are really important. Them are something that doesn't get changed often. Trust me, I know, I've been there. I mean, I bathe regularly now, and I wear clean clothes every day. But back then, you're up the creek. You have to wear the same clothes, same underwear every day. Socks. But rarely, I don't recall if I've ever been given. I've been given clothes when I was homeless. Not underclothes, but, other generic clothes. But no shoes. Shoes. I mean, I walked everywhere I went. Good shoes is really a must. If you have that. Nowadays, if I go buy me a pair of shoes, I make sure I buy an extra pair, take to the homeless shelter. I don't know, whatever size I wear, I buy, because usually about a size 7, 7.5, 8 are usually the general size for women, I think. At least they seem to disappear the fastest at the shoe store. Other things you could put in a backpack would be a Bible, or information. Giving them information on how to get help or education or work. Really good things. When I was homeless, if I was given some information on where I could go for like daily work to earn some cash, or if I knew about the Pell Grant with the college, that would have been awesome. If somebody would have just told me I could go to school for free, that would have been great. I would have loved that. That would have been most appreciated. If somebody would have said, hey, if you will sign up for college, if I help you get into the college, would you go? That would have been great. I would have loved that. Maybe a lot of people, homeless people, don't have the idea. They think college is for people that are wealthy. And it's not always the case. A lot of community colleges have that available. And a lot of homeless people don't know that. At least in my opinion, I did not know that. I did not know I could go to school. I could have went to school so much earlier than I did, and I think that would have been really good. But getting the help, either through the United Way, give them information, because a lot of places that it's not advertised. Here's where you could get help if you are having a hard time and you can't make it. I mean, they may have to move somewhere else for help if the area doesn't provide that. And I think about empty buildings and places. If there is no homeless shelter, a homeless person will sleep wherever they can find a safe place to sleep, or somewhat. I've slept on the ground. I've slept on the roof of a building. I've slept in the back seat of somebody's car that let me sleep there. I've slept, on somebody's garage floor when they don't, because you don't want to always have just any stranger come off the street and stay with you if you feel like that could be a safety issue, because you don't know. Because some people, they have an addiction, or they are, have a hard time not taking people's stuff. And you don't know. But, I mean, a real homeless person that doesn't have a vehicle, that's really struggling, as a former homeless person myself, anywhere is fine. I slept on dirt. It doesn't matter. I didn't care. I didn't even think about it. I didn't think about the dirt getting in my hair. I think I might have used a shirt as a pillow. But yeah, sleeping on the ground was very common and everything if you couldn't find a bench, because actually that one time there was someone actually on the bench, so I couldn't get the bench. Somebody had already taken it. So I had to sleep on the ground. So, the Lord, He's got a plan and purpose for everybody. Every homeless person has a plan and purpose. The Lord has got them there for a reason, whether it's because they did something bad that they shouldn't have done, or because what somebody else did to them. I think of Joseph in the Old Testament. He was thrown in a pit by his brothers. He was, a slave. He was in prison. And a lot of these things were not his own doing. It was just because somebody else. He was put out of his home, basically. And a lot of times you could be families may not want you around anymore because you're not you're not their golden child. And hey, you're out the door. So sometimes that's the case. So I know I'm already over 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes on this video, but I just wanted to give you some ideas about what you could do if you are not homeless and you see these people in the street and you don't know how to help. Like I said, money, I did smoke cigarettes, and if I could get up the money, I would get me a pack of cigarettes, but really, was that really what I needed or wanted? I really needed someone to take the time to listen to me. I mean, if just hear my story, if that's possible, or the food and water, because I was anemic. I mean, it would have been better for me to get the nuts, get something with iron in it. And I'm thankful that there was where I was mainly homeless at down in Florida, had a free clinic for, stuff, and they gave me a free prescription for some iron supplements, but still, I think the nutrition is a little bit better than a pack of cigarettes or giving them a couple dollars that you don't know where it's going to go. So if you're always concerned and you're been wondering how to help a homeless person, your best bet would be to buy a pack of granola bars, or several packs of nuts and some water. I mean, at least they get something in their system that has some nutritional value. Fresh fruit, if possible, but that would be kind of like, and then you don't have to worry about trash with the fresh fruit. If you don't want them to throw a wrapper on the ground, you can give them an apple, give them a banana. I mean, the peel of a banana is very biodegradable. It will turn into compost. It's fine. Something like that. Fruit, excellent choices. I know I was given also peanut butter and a loaf of bread, but that's kind of hard to tote around if you're on the street. But yeah, if you could give them, and right now with it being warm out, sunscreen and hats. Dollar Tree. I'm telling you, Dollar Tree's great for some things. Essentials homeless people need can be found at the Dollar Tree, and a Bible, so they can spend their time, if they're spending their time wandering around the streets. And that's what we see a lot of times, is just they're just not doing anything. They're just wandering around from place to place. A Bible for them to read and information on getting help. I see sometimes they're at the library and they will be on the computer, and I'm thinking, wow, they could be researching how to get out of their situation. But, in many cases, by the smell of them, a lot of them have addictions and everything. So, I'm not homeless anymore, but I have a family, I have kids, I have a house and everything. And, I've contacted them about the shelter and stuff, and about, possibly taking in somebody. But they're all like, oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And I'm thinking, I've tried. And at times to see if I could. I still would like to help women, especially that's wanting to get out of the situation they're in. Maybe they're in an abusive situation. Their husband doesn't want to work. And that is very much can be the case. The husband doesn't want to work. He prefers being on the street, prefers getting the free handouts. And she's fed up with that. And she's wondering, what am I going to do? He's just using me and the kids for a free ride. Really, I mean, can you possibly think of people that maybe, that women that are in that? Their spouse, their husband doesn't want to work. They're in a place, they're living at a place, but the husband is using the woman and the children as a meal ticket. And I've been in that situation. You get used for, if you're a woman, and sometimes maybe a man can be used as a ride. If you're a woman and you have children and you're single and you're shacking up with a guy, he's probably using you for a free meal, because the social services will say, hey, here's a woman and children, they need stuff, so they dish it out. So I would suggest be aware of that, and be aware, if you are homeless, that if you're a homeless woman specifically and you've got children and you're hanging around with this guy, that he may be your husband and you may be in that position of being used. And that could be the case. And I feel bad for that. I don't want people to be in that. And I would love to help people, specifically women, because I've seen, even at the college, the community college, when I went there was a lot of women that was living, their children and them were living with a guy to make ends meet, so that they wouldn't be on the street. And I'm thinking, that really doesn't have to happen. If there was a place for women to go to with their children and be safe, have what their needs met. For me, I would, if they came to stay at my house, I would expect them to try to make themselves better, go to school, and all of that. If they're making the effort, I'm more than willing to help them out. But if they're willing to stay in their addictions, and they're wanting to be running around partying, and there's women that are that way, that are on welfare, food stamps, and all of that stuff, and they still go drinking and partying while their kids are at home. And I'm thinking, that's, how are you going to get out of the situation you're in if you're still going out in that mess? Instead of investing in partying, you could invest in your kids' education or your own education to get you away from that. Take up a healthier habit. The homeless shelter I stayed in down in Florida, they do 5Ks now to raise money for the homeless people, and they've really expanded dramatically. What is that called? It's down in Sanford, Florida. There's a really nice homeless shelter down there. That's where I got saved. They really I think they had a pretty good system set up. But now, from what I've read about them, they've really have expanded out and really help a lot of people. But homeless people are always going to be around because there's a lot of people that just want to be homeless and they want to do everything their way. They feel like they don't want to live under no one's roof. They don't want to live under any rules. And they just want to do all that. And them people you can't really do much for. You can't really help out. But don't give them any money. Give them, give them the granola bar. Give them the nuts. Give them the water just to sustain them. And give them some nourishment. Maybe some wipes for hygiene. I guess it's about enough of this. I've been running on and on. It's over 20 minutes. And I know it's not a fitness video. It's not weight loss. I did eat something healthy. And share your thoughts. If you are homeless, what do you think would be great for you? What would you like? What would help you get better? Maybe if you are homeless, also comment how you got that way. Everybody gets there different. And, I'm not going to judge people that are homeless just because they're on the street. Doesn't mean they're on drugs or alcohol. They just have whatever happened. So if you're homeless, share about that. How you got there and what would help you best. Them are two things that you could share. And if you're not homeless, consider ways that you might be able to help people that without bringing them into your home. I was thinking I could have them come do yard work when I was homeless. I've done that for people. Rake yards, clean up debris. I never got to go into people's house, but I was able to help them, and then I got paid at the end of the day. So that would be an option too. Give them something, let them help you work. If you're cleaning up a street or doing something, invite them to come help, and you give them a few dollars for the labor, So, if they're willing to work. I've seen quite a few that really don't want to work, that just stand around and smoke cigarettes all day. So that's definitely not the way to go. I found working out is a lot better to deal with the stress of life. Praying, reading the Bible, that's all great for stress reducers without picking up a cigarette. So I've been there, done that. I don't want to ever go back. I hope to never see it again. But yeah, that should about cover everything I've ran on about. Yeah, tell me anything else you could think of that would go along with that. But yeah, I guess that's it. I will catch you later. Maybe I'll show you a workout later. All right, bye.